And this is some crazy stuff. This is a crazy world that we are living in today. I know a lot of us got some questions. I got some questions. I'm like, what in the world is going on? I don't know who this person is. I just stumbled across her. Her name is Glorilla. And apparently, she released a video telling women or girls to be toxic in their 20s. Look, I'm gonna play the video.
And I just want to let y'all know, be toxic for the rest of your 20s. You only get one life. Live your toxic 20s. You never get to be 20 years old, 21, 22, 23, 24, none of that ever again in your life. Be toxic, because don't get in your 30s thinking you could just go slashing tires and doing all this crazy shit. You too old for that now. You too mature. Be toxic for the rest of your 20s. And if you delusional, turn that shit up a notch. Enjoy the rest of your 20s. You only get to do this shit one time. And I just want to
play that back. If you delusional, turn it up a notch. All right, I don't know if she's being sarcastic. Be toxic in your 20s. You're only 20 one time. You only get to live through your 20s one time. And if you're delusional, turn it up a notch. Yo, what are we even talking about? What? I'm trying to process what I just heard. This was reposted by the No Jumper podcast. And Glorilla says that women should be toxic in their 20s. That's crazy. I'm thinking about all the young women, even the young man, watching this video, and they're like, what? I can be toxic in a world that's anti-toxic? You're telling me it's okay to be toxic? Now, keep in mind what she said, because there's another video that I want to play. And I just stumbled across this video. The person who recorded was like, y'all ratchet? Yo. Let's take the whole rack. Yeah. If you're delusional, turn it up a notch. I mean, that seemed pretty toxic to me. They look pretty young, like they're in their 20s. I wonder what they're being influenced by. Hello. This is wild, man. What are we doing? What are we doing? What kind of people are we putting into these positions of influence? What kind of people are we allowing to lead us, to speak into our lives? And why are we even listening to them? Why are we listening to them? Glorilla, named Gloria Hallelujah Woods, born July 28th, 1999, known professionally as, obviously, is an American rapper from Memphis, Tennessee. She rose to prominence after releasing her 2022 song, FNF Let's Go, which was nominated for Best Rap Performance at 65th Annual Grammy Awards. In September 2022, Woods returned to her high school, Martin Luther King College Prep in Memphis, Tennessee, to donate $25,000. That's dope. Telling people to be toxic in your 20s. telling people to turn it up a notch if you're delusional. And then seeing what happened in Texas at the Nike store, who are we going to hold responsible for this? The things that people do, slashing tires, being toxic, sleeping around, being promiscuous, doing drugs, partying. I mean, you think back to the SoundCloud rapper era, right? Think back to Lil Peep. You think back to what's his name? Juice World. All these guys who were in their 20s. The tragic story, the tragic ending in their lives. There's the way their stories turned out. Like, I don't want to be insensitive, but I'm saying some people don't get to make it past their 20s. Some people get locked up in their 20s. Some people overdose on drugs in their 20s. Some people get murdered in their 20s. Some people don't get the luxury of living past their 20s, and to tell people, be toxic in your 20s. Cast off all restraints. Do whatever you want. Live with no boundaries. You only get to be 20 once. If you're delusional, turn it up. Like, and it's not just Glorilla. I'm not just gonna single her out and say that, oh, she's the issue of this enormous problem that's going on in our world. But I mean, when you're in these places of influence and you got millions upon millions of followers, people are going to listen to what you have to say. I don't know if you guys are aware of who D1 is, but he did a interview a couple weeks back, and he called out Jim Jones, Meek Mill, and Rick Ross to think about what they're spitting in their songs and what's being released into our world and what people are grabbing a hold of. Now, this is what he said.
And shot at the red light. What Jim Jones, you could do better, brother. I love you too much. I love you too much to not be honest with you. Rick Ross, you could do better, brother. Meek Mill, you could do better, brother. I love you too much not to be honest with you. Are you the face of prison reform? Cause are you the face of prison reform? Or are you sitting here on your new song with Ross talking about getting somebody murked and shot at the red light? Which one is it, bro? Which one is it, bro? Cause I did a shoe giveaway in my city and gave out 1,300 pairs of your shoes because they said reform underneath them. And I love that you partnered with a major shoe company and you out here pushing prison reform. But now I got to sit here like, man, this man glorifying getting people killed as of a week ago. Like, what are you doing, bro? Lil Snoop really got killed. That broke your heart. You wear on your neck. Why are you glorifying the same thing when my best friend got killed? When Carl got killed, New Orleans know who I'm talking about. When Carl got killed, and I had to go to his funeral and read the eulogy and be part of the funeral, and I got back in my car, Sway, after the funeral, and I turned on my music, and I realized I'm listening to music that's glorifying the same stuff that just happened to my best friend. It gave me chills, and I needed that moment. That was my come to Jesus moment.
I'm not anti-black people. I'm not anti-Hispanic. I'm not anti-white. I'm not anti-Asian. I'm not anti-Samoan. Whatever. I'm not anti-anybody. I am anti-violence. I am anti-murder. I am anti-drugs. Being toxic. I'm against that. I mean, how do you put things out, encourage certain things that is detrimental to society, and you expect people to let it slide, especially because you gave out $20,000 worth of turkeys, you gave out a couple $100,000 worth of clothes back to your community, so you get to you advocate for prison reform, so you get this pass to, I get to make content about whatever I want. Like, no, leaders, which I would argue and say that Glorilla, Jim Jones, Rick Ross, Meek Mills in their own field are leaders, should be held accountable for what they're saying, what kind of content they're putting out. Because I said this in previous videos about Doja Cat. Regardless if you like it or not, you believe it or not, you are a leader. You influence people. You have a responsibility. And if people are listening to your music and you're glorifying murder, and now people are being inspired to go and murder, I mean, obviously not everybody, but you never know. You never know. You never know. People are being inspired by your music to go and be toxic, to be ratchet, to go and murder somebody, to go and beat up their ops and rob their ops. And he was right, bro. We do gravitate more towards darkness. We do like the poison. I say, how can you impose your will on the masses? You call it entertainment. Put it in catchy songs, catchy phrases, and you put it out, and you get to say whatever you want. You get to do whatever you want. Ain't nobody gonna come at you for a while because it's dope, bro. You heard that song? That song was hard. Like, yeah, but were you really listening to what he was saying? Oh, it's okay. He's just expressing himself. He just expressed. Okay, cool. He's just expressing himself. Do we see do we see the impact that it's having on society? When I hear about mass shootings, the first thing that I think about is, what kind of music does he listen to? I don't know why my mind goes there, but when I hear about a mass shooting, a young individual running up and shooting up places, I think about, who does this person watch and who does this person listen to? What was I doing in my 20s? From the age of 20 to 22, I was battling with addiction, with depression and anxiety. At 23, I got saved. I gave my life to Christ. And from 23 on, I was being transformed into a new person in Christ. So I can't say that I lived my 20s toxic. I mean, I think prior to my 20s, from the age of 15 up until 21, I definitely was ratchet. I was toxic with nobody to tell me about myself, with no guidance. The people who were influencing me were, rappers, celebrities, people who I had no real connection to, people who I had no relationship with, people who I didn't know anything about other than their songs. I didn't know what kind of people they were in real life. I didn't know how they carried themselves in real life. If they had families, I didn't know what kind of person they were to their families, to their kids in real life. I just followed their music and I did whatever they told me to do. Talk about mind control, right? And so you see history starting to repeat itself. It's sad because we got kids growing up in this world and we got to teach them how to navigate through all the voices that's speaking into the younger generation. I'm going to say like D1 said, we got to do better, yo. We got to do better. This is crazy. People robbing stores. Obviously, we're African American, which sucks because you got people looking at African Americans like we're all the same. That we all out here robbing stores and beating up people and shooting up people and doing drugs and don't got our heads on straight. You think all black people are out here? You got people thinking that all black people are out here telling everybody to be toxic in your 20s, be delusional, turn it up. And it's sad, man. You go to places, you go to nice places and they look at you weird. They look at you like you're a threat. They look at you like you ain't got no sense. This is why. This is why, because we give a platform and a microphone to people who shouldn't have one in the first place. Straight up. We give it to people who shouldn't have it in the first. We give platforms to people who shouldn't have one in the first place. You need to disconnect that microphone and turn that crap off. You need to disassemble that stage. turn the cameras off that person. Now, again, I don't know if what Glorilla said, I don't know if she was just being sarcastic, but I doubt people, the youngins, I doubt they're gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna take it literally. And if you were to sit down and ask Glorilla, I'm pretty sure that's what she would say. Oh, I was just being sarcastic. You took what I said literally. And then when you call people out about what they say and what they do, their response is violence. Their response is, I'm gonna pull up on homie. I'm gonna pull up on them, be like, yo, what you saying? What you saying? What's all this stuff you hollering about? Like people want to do whatever they want, and then when it's time to be accountable, then you want to get defensive. Then you want to start deflecting. Then you want to start resorting to threats, rather than being an adult with this huge platform and being asked the hard questions, having hard conversations, talking about growth, talking about change, talking about what we can do better as a whole, as a people. People don't want to have those type of conversations though. Why? Because it's easier to be toxic. It's easier to be ratchet. It's easier to do whatever you want and have no accountability, to be accountable to nobody, to answer to nobody, to do whatever you want. I would say this: people who don't have a vision for their lives will live life with no restraint, will live life with no boundaries. People with no vision will live their 20s ratchet and toxic. So I would say if you're in your 20s, I would say get a vision for your life. Write your vision down. Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? How do you want to spend your 30s, your 40s? What you do in your 20s, you will reap a harvest in your 30s. So if you're toxic in your 20s, your 30s, you're going to see the fruit of what you've done in your 20s. So I would say don't be toxic in your 20s. I would say don't be wild and obnoxious and crazy and can't nobody tell you nothing. Don't be like that. Have a plan for your life. Have a vision for your life. Know where you want to go in life. See where you want to go in life. Dream. Write down ideas. Go for it. We live in a day and age where anything is possible. Anything is possible. I would say cut out the toxic people from your life and surround yourself with people who also have a vision for the life and people who want to go places in life. I would say stop listening to people that are telling you to do things that are going to hurt you further down in life. At the end of the day, people who are telling you to be toxic, when you find yourself in a bad situation, those same people that's telling you to be toxic, they're not going to be there to help you. They're not going to be there to grab you out of the flames. They're not going to pull you out of that fire. They're not going to pay you. They're not going to pay for your bail to get out of jail. They're not going to be there for you when someone's trying to kill you, someone's trying to beat you up. You got to be careful with who you are allowing to speak into your life. Because it can sound sincere, it can sound cool, but at the end of the day, these people don't even know you. They don't care about you. So don't be toxic in your 20s. Have a plan. Have a plan. Have a vision. Write it down. Make it plain. Make it simple. And then every day when you wake up, look at that vision. Look at your goals. And every day when you look at your vision, it's going to motivate you to live every day on purpose with intentions. You're going to create boundaries. You're going to create boundaries. You're going to have restraints. You're going to have things that, I can't do that. I can't do that because I need to stay focused. No, I can't do that because that's not who I'm trying to be. That's not where I'm trying to go in life. It doesn't sound, it sounds more cool to be toxic and to be ratchet in your 20s, but that's a lie. This is what society has bred us to believe. What's cool is somebody who's focused, who's locked in, who has a vision, who knows where they're going. That's sexy. That's dope. That's gangster. That's what a real man does. That's what a real woman does. All right? That's all I got, yo. I'll see you guys in the next one. All right? Peace.